Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet regular session on December the 3rd, 2024 at 10 a.m. Commissioners Courtroom in County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is invocation of the allegiance of the U.S. and Texas flag, and Commissioner Watson will lead those.
Almighty, accept our thanks for this day and all its blessings. We ask for your guidance and that you direct our leadership on the court. I pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to our fellow citizens and to our community. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us. May we be challenged to give our best always, and may we be assured of your presence with us. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Commissioner. Number 2 is call for citizens' input and or concerns. First is Tanner Stovall.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tanner Stovall. My wife and I own property off of Elmo Whedon and Dice Road. We have about 52 acres over there. I'm here to speak on our own behalf of the opposition of the East Loop, as it would run parallel to our property along the road. It would also take parts of our neighbor's property that are across the road from us. It would add undue traffic to our road, as we got a small taste of that last week with the road repairs to Elmo Whedon by the church, if some of you aren't aware. Traffic was diverted from Elmo Whedon and Highway 30 down Dice Road to Hardy Whedon and back to 30, so we had to make a loop. That's fine. We all understand that road repairs need to be made, and that was the way to do it. What it did was it gave us a small taste of what it would be like to have an east loop running next to my place. I had traffic from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. every night. Lots of traffic. Trucks, cars, people trying to go to work. It was so loud at our place. We bought our place 3 years ago with the intent of raising our daughter there. We also run a business there. We board horses. It's nice. It's peaceful. It's where we've chose to put our roots down in this county, and the East Loop would totally upend that for us. It would take away the peacefulness. It would affect our business because it would be loud. It could bring higher crime to our area where we have none. I've heard people on this court speak to people that were standing around me that said, "Oh, you don't have to worry about this. It won't be built in your lifetime." I'm 38 years old. If this gets passed, it will be built in my lifetime, and I will have to deal with it. It will affect my property values for the negative for the time being until a decision is made on this, which would hopefully be to not go through with it at all. The problem with traffic in this town, as I've heard other members of this court say, is an east-west ordeal, which it is, east-west. Elmo Whedon has a lot of traffic. That's understandable. That is east-west. 1179 has traffic east-west. We have traffic problems east-west. If you try to go anywhere through town, you are held up going east-west. That is where improvements need to be made. When we diverted traffic from east-west to go north-south down Dice Road, it greatly increased it. I'll just close with, I am opposed to every possible route that this loop can take. It is totally unnecessary. Our funds should be spent somewhere else, not paying other people to look into this about something that could be done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Beverly Greenwood.
Good morning. My name is Beverly Greenwood, and I live at 10,000 Steep Hollow Road. I am a co-owner of NoEastLoop.com. Thank you to the court for allowing me to speak today, and I also commend you and thank you for the extension of the comment period for the No East Loop. My property is directly affected. I am not in favor of this loop, and I fully reject each and every alignment. After much research, I have a better understanding on where this property came from, with years of a haphazardly drawn map being passed from one governmental entity, commission, or committee desk to the next, how the TRIP bond was planned and utilized to fund the current study with the intention to leverage TxDOT dollars with the creative lobbying of Mr. John Polster of ITS, and how the alignments were moved around to accommodate some neighborhoods and not others. I have a large and growing list of unaware people that have bought or built their homes in the past 5 years in the path of an alignment that had been placed back in 2019. I have made it my #1 priority to make sure all of eastern Brazos County is not being disenfranchised in this process. I have spoken to over 100 people in person, by phone, and through written communication, and I've listened to the disappointment expressed in the very place we all call home. I have spoken to a concerned member of the local Hispanic media and real estate market, believing that minority small farm ownership will become unattainable in an already aggressive seller's market. In addition, that this loop will create what large cities refer to as an urban doom loop, or some refer to it as white flight, that further and disproportionately segregates people groups and income classes from Bryan as higher wage earners move and race to move outside the loop. That will also drive commercial development further from the heart of Bryan, creating urban sprawl. I read a quote about urban sprawl stating, "Sprawl suggests the city has collapsed, like a drunkard on a sidewalk, and it is now spreading inexorably outwards, oblivious to the surrounding county side." Urban sprawl creates a low-density environment with a high segregation between residential and commercial areas, with harmful impacts on the people living in these areas. It is becoming a major issue in many cities around the U.S. Problems include increased strain on transportation infrastructure, social segregation leading to increased crime, and decreased political participation, which clearly we already have. I will be the first to admit I have ignored local government policy and procedure until now. Yesterday, we formed a new nonpartisan PAC named Brazos Roofs and Ranches that will be dedicated to cultivating informed voters and advocating for the residents of rural Brazos County. Of all the things I have learned, absolutely the most disappointing comment has come from the 75-year-old and plus generation. "Well, at least I won't have to be here when it happens." And they weren't implying that they were moving. That has caused me to really pause. Are we a community that's so focused on the future that we have completely forgotten our past? As self-proclaimed leaders of engineering and agriculture, I know we can do better embracing our agricultural and rural roots and heritage while engineering an innovative solution to getting the heavy commercial truck traffic through Bryan College Station. I acknowledge this is a accumulation of years of meetings, discussions, man-hours, and hard work. But it is never, never too late to stop a bad idea and do the right thing, especially when it exacts a toll on the very fabric of this community, its people. One commenter on the Facebook, I'd like to close by thanking Mr. Polster and extending the deadline, and I also look forward to the 2 community meetings that he has promised that we will have. Thank you.
Thank you. Keith Ballady.
Good morning. So I wanted to just thank everybody for allowing me to speak, but I am also opposed to the East Loop or any part of it. About 6 years ago, we decided to move out to the country, and we lived on off of Briarcrest, and we wanted to get out into the country. So we did that, looked for land, and we found a piece of property that had about 3.5 acres. Decided we're going to build our dream home, purchased a property in 2020, built our dream home, moved in at the end of 2020. In 2021, we built a casita. I'm a musician. I built studio and got a postcard in the mail, basically on October 15th or around that time, saying that they're having a meeting down at the Brazos Center. So, not thinking anything of it, I saw on the postcard there was a green line going through it, very little information. Went down to the Brazos Center and asked if we could have help, and I was concerned about the property, but I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. Make a long story short, the lady said, yeah, you need to go over to the computer or go over to the table and see exactly what's going on. So I was concerned, so we sat down, and as soon as I put the information in there, realized that this goes right through my living room. And I was shocked. I was disappointed. I'm thinking, how in the world could this be? How could we buy this property in 2020, and in 2024, they're going to build a road through my living room? I said, this is impossible. So, in saying that, I am opposed to this. I didn't know the Greenwoods 3 weeks ago. I know them now because I'm part of the team. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to figure out what's going on, why and how. And all I can say is this: put yourself in our shoes. If it was your house, if it was your ranch. And also, I also would ask that we all pray about this and do the right thing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Scott Lovett.
Good morning, Judge Peters and Commissioners. I'm speaking on a different topic, Senate Bill 2038. I am the owner of 96 acres off of Stowson Road. Approximately 6 months ago, I filed a preliminary plat with the county engineer. At the time, Ms. Banerjee was unwilling to recognize my property's compliance with Texas Local Government Code 42-101 through 105, where the law states that my property is outside of the extraterritorial jurisdiction. In her lack of recognizing this law, she forced me to plat my property through College Station's platting process. Last week, my engineer submitted a final plat to Ms. Banerjee, and she is still unwilling to recognize my property's compliance with the law. We all know that College Station is violating this law by denying petitions in a manner that the law does not allow. But in addition to that, the county staff, by being unwilling to recognize the landowner's compliance with this law, is reaffirming College Station's violation of the law. The law very plainly reads this: Texas Local Government Code 42-105, Section D. If a municipality fails to take action to release the area under subsection C by the 45th day after the date the municipality receives the petition, the area is released by operation of law. This law was sponsored by Kyle Cassell, our state representative. It was passed out of the committee almost unanimously, and it was voted and approved by a majority of legislators in the state of Texas. Another point: Adam Falco, College Station city attorney, co-authored a letter brief regarding petitioners' rights under this law, and he filed this with the Supreme Court of Texas on September 27th of this year. 3 quotes from his letter brief. The law gives petitioners the unilateral right to opt out of a city's ETJ and thereby avoid any possibility of enforcement of the city's regulations. By its plain language, subchapter D states that owners of a property in a city's ETJ that desire their property be removed from that city's ETJ need only submit a valid petition to the city to accomplish the release. Removal from the ETJ occurs automatically, regardless of whether the receiving city takes any affirmative action on the petition. Due to the county staff not recognizing this law, my property is sustaining significant economic and very measurable damages. And recognizing this law only benefits the county. The staff's unwillingness to recognize this law, first and foremost, is a violation of a just law, as our invocation prayed to a just God. But second, it delays investment in the community, It increases costs for home builders and therefore increases the cost for home buyers. It certainly does not help the affordability of housing in our community. It reduces the tax base for the county and for the school districts. In every measurable way, staff's unwillingness to recognize this law is harmful to the county, and it puts the county in a position where the county is standing in defiance of a Texas law. I am asking the county commissioners to instruct the county staff to recognize this law, honor this law, and act accordingly when landowners are in compliance with this law. I am only one of a multitude of landowners in this position. This problem is growing by the week, and you will have to defend your position again and again. So you need to decide whether you stand with the plain language of the Texas law or whether you stand with College Station's violation of the law. If the commissioners will not instruct the staff to follow this law and the staff continues to disregard this law, what other understanding should I have except that the county is complicit in College Station's violation of the law? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chris Barnes?
Judge, I need to
okay.
respond on
Okay.
some factual
Go ahead.
matters. Just so the court is aware, this is a problem that was created not by Mr. Lovett or by the city of College Station, but by the legislature. When they passed the law that he refers to, they failed to amend an older statute that does require affirmative permission of the city of College Station. The city of College Station has voted in council to deny his request. They have notified us in writing that they have denied his request. And as far as the city of College Station is concerned, they have not left the ETJ. And that is the situation we're in. It's not a situation created by the county. It's a situation created by legislation that didn't address all of the issues of how it conflicted with prior laws.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Chris Barnes?
I want to start by thanking the commissioners and the court for letting me come up and speak. I'm going to do this without notes. I hope I make sense. My name is Chris Barnes. I am speaking in opposition of the East Loop project, probably from a little bit of a different perspective than almost everybody else has spoken about. Our house is inside where the proposed loop is. So our house and property is not in any danger of being torn down or plowed over. I guess the best way to describe this is to tell you the story of why we moved here. I was discharged from the Navy in 1983, and I came to Bryan College Station to attend Texas A&M. Upon graduation, we chose to stay here because we fell in love with the community, specifically because it was not Austin, Houston, Dallas, big urban center. We chose to live in a community that was primarily rural. You sometimes will hear lots of people complain that there's nothing to do in this community. That's what we were seeking. We wanted a community that was small and rural. After a few years, we were able to buy some property. It's between Coulter Field and Messinahoff, outside the city limits, barely, but it is outside the city limits. We now live on 6.5 acres. We built our dream home there. We've lived there since 2005. My opposition to the East Loop is that this proposes to turn Brazos County into the very thing that we tried to avoid when we moved here. Development follows road projects like this. Certainly some residential development is going to happen no matter what, but commercial development, things like gas stations and grocery stores, liquor stores, things like that, will follow road projects like that. One only needs to look at what's happened along 2818 and Welborn Avenue in College Station to see that that's what's happened. That's not why we moved out into Brazos County. It's not why we chose to live in Bryan College Station. I guess I'm speaking for the people in the community who are not directly affected by this road. It still affects us because it turns this community away from what we should be and what makes us desirable to live here. I guess that's my biggest point. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last speaker in the public comments. Next, we will consider and take action on agenda items 3 through 11. Number 3 is approval of appointment of Thomas Gale to Brazos County Emergency Services District Number 3 for the unexpired term of Doug Whedon ending December 31, 2025.
Move approval.
Second. Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 4 is approval of cancellation of Commissioners Court for the week of December 23rd through 27, 2024 in observance of the Christmas holidays.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 5 is approval requested from the Brazos County Public Defender's Office to pay the following invoices to USA Certified Interpreters, LLC for interpreting services and mileage provided during FY 2024. A purchase order was not obtained in advance.
Move approval A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 6 is approval CIP 25-570 commissioning services, Brazos County Administration Building pricing proposal $186,000 with Tom Green and Company Engineers, Inc.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people ask me questions about this particular item, and they wanted to, and just so we'll know, commissioning services, what all does that constitute, and what does it do to justify the expenditure of $186,000?
So this is consulting, I believe. Come on up, Trevor. You can explain it a lot better than I can, but this is consulting for this building to see us through the CME and architectural process all the way, I believe. But go ahead.
Yes, sir. Morning, Judge, Commissioners. So the third-party commissioning is an independent set of engineers that will essentially be our own quality control. We don't employ engineers, envelope engineers, mechanical engineers, and so they are our sort of independent arm to look into these issues and make sure that the building's being constructed per the design specifications and drawings. So it gives us a sort of a front-end check against it as opposed to finding out later or after the fact that we've got some sort of construction defect or anything that we may have to remedy.
Okay, yeah, and what do we estimate that the cost for the project itself for the admin building proposal?
I believe the last design estimate we got was $17 million total for the envelope, the north wing, and the sanctuary.
All right, thanks.
Sure
Okay.
thing.
Thank you,
And
Trevor.
this does cover mechanical, electrical, plumbing for the whole building.
Well, I know we don't have anybody that's somebody on staff that does this type of stuff, so
Steve,
thank
can
you.
you please speak into the mic?
Sure. I said, we don't have anybody on staff that is specifically, and we've had some issues with some properties, and hopefully this will preempt some of those issues coming up. But I wanted to just talk about it while we're here so the community at large can understand that this is a justifiable expense in order to get it right and use professional services that we do not have expertise in ourselves, and that, well, as it's been referred to me, is not just another snout in the trough.
No, it is not. And our goal moving forward on our projects is to bring them on through the design process to sort of help us through the entire thing and not just bring them on at the end. But it's a new endeavor for us. It is also I can't remember which year, but in the new building code, commissioning is a requirement. So.
Okay.
Very good,
Thanks.
thanks.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor.
We still need to vote, correct? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 7 is tax refund application for the following.
Move approval A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 8 is personnel change status.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 9 is payment of claims. Claims to be paid by Brazos County, claim number 8206682 through claim number 8206766, and claim number 9202927 through claim number 9202987.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. We will skip down to number 12, which is an acknowledgement of the 2024-2025 budget to actuals by fund as of November 25th, 2024, and an acknowledgement of 2024-25 contingency budget to actuals by fund as of November 25th, 2024. Number 13, Juvenile Director's Report on Detention Population. Linda.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. We have 36 in detention. We have 24 males, 12 females, and we have 42 on electronic monitor. And I'd just like to say that I know you're all aware that we had an escape from detention on Friday, last Friday, a little after 10. The juvenile has been apprehended as of yesterday afternoon, and there were no injuries during the situation. I would like to thank law enforcement community because they provided so much help, and especially the Sheriff's Office. And we're in the process of investigation, and we will provide a report once we have one that we can release.
Okay.
Thank you.
Linda. 14 is Sheriff's Report on inmate population. Sure.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. 763 this morning, 618 men, 145 women, and 32 on monitors.
The women's population seems to be growing.
Probably, it may be a short-term increase. Usually that number runs between 15 and 18% of the total.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Number 15 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
There's so much going on in this community between now and January 2nd. Everybody be safe and have fun and enjoy.
Well, I'd like to just say thank you to the community, to Salvation Army. As some of y'all know, over at Southgate Apartments, they've been without gas for at least 2 weeks. And so there have been a number of churches and community organizations that have literally had to go over and provide foods and cook outside. They didn't get to have Thanksgiving. I don't know what the problem is. My understanding is that the gas company is now there. Apparently they have to clear each apartment. But the fact that these folks, particularly since we've had such cool weather, have had no heat, I would encourage those of you in the community to probably make donations to pray for these folks. But it is so heartbreaking to know that this is where they live, and and I understand there's a problem with the water also. So prayers to the residents who live there. Thank you, and prayers to those who have been going over to help them. I don't know what the price. I said I don't know what the problem is, but I ask that the community support them, that the community pray for them, and that they expedite whatever the problem is so that these folks can get back into their apartments and be warm, because I'm one of those, as you can tell how I dress, I don't do cold very well, and my heart goes out to them. So, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Speaking of all those wonderful things, KBTX's Food for Family is going to be at the Brazos Center tomorrow from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they'll be taking non-perishable food items as well as donations of personal items, so wet wipes, toilet paper, personal items you might use for the restroom, toothpaste, toothbrush, anything you might need in the restroom, non-perishable food, and donations. Again, from 5 to 7 tomorrow at Brazos Center. They're actually doing it in 7 locations around the valley, but in Brazos County, it's going to be at Brazos Center. It's 5 a.m. to 7 tomorrow.
Right, and the need is great. I mean, the housing shortage, food shortage, Brazos County is, I mean, there are those of us who are doing well, but there are a significant number of residents and citizens in this county who need our help and our support. So piggybacking on what Chuck said, Commissioner Conderlis said, donate, please do what you can to help out for those in need.
Okay. Thank y'all. Number 10, then we'll move on to, and is convene an executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071 to consult with an attorney about pending or contemplated litigation and/or settlement offer. And we need, of course, the Commissioners Court, Aubrey, attorneys. Okay, and Chief of Staff.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
No, sir.
Time is 10:30. Right, we're coming out of executive session. It's 10:50. There's no action to be taken, and the next item is to adjourn. Thank y'all.